How we doing, everyone, and welcome back to Volume by Volume. This time we're getting back into ID and ID Invaded, Breaks Broken, the second volume, the series that I used to start off this entire series. Pretty much getting into the crux of the issues that they're going to deal in this 3-part manga series. So to do a rundown of Chapter 1, we are picking up right after we left off with Hondomachi and Fukusen, as Fukusen actually realizes the criminal is in his car. Sort of where we left off. The first chapter of the manga is going to cover that person getting in a wreck with Fukusen, as Hondomachi and the rest of the police have to help save him. Obviously, Sakaido is his name, is still doing his business in the, they call it the Mizuhanome. I still can't say the name for that machine properly. We'll call it the Matrix. In the Matrix, trying to figure out what's happening with the crime using that setup that they use with the Wakamutsubi, the gun that they do to find criminal particles. Overall, I did enjoy this volume. I thought it was well worth my time. I'm intrigued with the mystery. I'm really excited to see how they're going to wrap this up, because if they wrap it up nicely, it's a good 3-volume manga that you could recommend to someone to go pick up and see if they like the idea of manga. So from here on, I'm probably going to talk more spoilers about the rest of the volume, what they're dealing with, some of the discoveries they make. I won't be spoiling everything, because obviously my goal is to have you go out and get this volume and read it for yourself, but to give you a general idea of what you would be getting into when you pick up this volume and start to read it. So if you don't want to stick around, if you want to read it based off that synopsis of the first chapter and my thoughts on it, that's awesome. Please go pick it up. Ooh, excuse me. Other than that, please stick around and I'll give you some more explanation of what we're going to be seeing with our characters. So after Chapter 1, essentially, we're going to be picking up with Fukusen and the suspect ending up in the hospital. The suspect is revealing some information to the police officers, Hondomachi and them, about how they know about the Wakamutsubi. So essentially the Matrix thing that they have is a very hidden technology that they use to solve crime, and they try to keep it under wraps so criminals don't know how they're able to solve crimes as well as they do. And that's sort of the mystery that they're unraveling, is this person who's going out causing all these different wrecks that we learned in the first volume actually might know what this system is and might have a connection or reason to want to get their hands on it. So they are starting to worry about this. Sakaido is still just sitting in the machine dying over and over again. They start to realize that cars that are crashing in the machine share the same license plates as the ones that they crashed. They still don't really know what's happening with Karu-chan, and they've started to realize that they're not really getting anywhere. So even though Hondomachi is trying to wait for Fukusen, her partner, and care about his health, they recruit her to go out of her way and start helping out with the investigation, hopping into their Matrix machine to learn. So we get to see her characterized in that world and help Sakaido try to figure out what's going on with Karu-chan, while some more mysteries are unraveling with the suspect in the real world and the other police officers. Stuff like Fukusen is starting to see Karu-chan, which is the girl that we constantly see murdered in the Matrix world, and we understand to be like Sakaido's sister. She has a frog head, which is very interesting in my opinion. Outside of that, we're starting to learn more about the murderer slash criminal herself, that I guess she might think that she's a god and a chosen one, that she cannot die, and that's why she's going out and causing these wrecks. And then within the machine, Sakaido is still sort of solving the mystery the way he does, while Hondomachi is much more focused on what happened with Karu-chan. She's sort of taking a new approach to it. She's ignoring the things that are happening in the world, because I think if you can remember who you are in the Matrix, then you essentially, like Neo in the actual Matrix, you can like wake up and know that you're within a machine and focus more on what you're doing. So that's like a big focus, is figuring out that they're in this type of simulation type thing. I've been dealing with that. Other than that, the manga sort of progresses to a point where Sakaido makes a deal to get out of the machine because he wants to do something, and as soon as he gets out, he tries to get in a room alone with Fukusen. Everyone's worried he's going to kill him. There obviously is some connection between the two of them. At least that's what I get from it. And yeah, the police officers stop him, but during this time that they're distracted, the woman who they've captured as a criminal is being taken by others. So we're realizing that there might be some other people involved and stuff like that. It's really building up to let the, essentially, I think when you're in the order of things, the climax is here. We're like right here. They're getting us right on the edge of it so that they can climax falling action into the rest of the series with that third volume. I expect it, I think it is a bit chunkier. I have it to my left here. Yeah, it's a bit chunkier than this volume in the first, so I'm very intrigued to see how they're going to take that story and either expand upon it or just how they will tie in those mysteries. A good example to connect it to, behind me I have Monster. I've read volume 1. It does a really good job of setting up mystery in it, in my opinion, so much so that I refuse to read it till I find the final volume I'm missing, volume 5, because it's that good. Other than that, there's not much else to say, because I think this one is what I would call a setup volume. So the first one was all the introductions. This one doesn't really expand on much of our knowledge. It gives us a few breadcrumbs to show how this mystery might unfold. It ends on some good action overall, and at the end of it, it really is just set up for the climax to come and happen. You know, I think we're going to start to learn who Karu-chan is in the next one. We might learn why Fukusen and Sakaido are connected. We're going to learn probably, I would imagine, why this lady knows about the Wakamusubi and the Matrix machine is just what I'm going to keep calling it because its name's too complicated. And that's what I'm excited to see in the next one, is those things explored and answered so that we can have a nice wrap-up to this 3-volume series. Art-wise, I think it has nice art. Thank you to the artist Yuki Kodama. So they do a really good job. I think it looks really nice. I enjoy the art. I wouldn't say it's anything special. You're not getting something super stylized like One Piece, but it does a good job of fitting the type of manga that they're writing. I don't know if this is the same person from the manga, or not the manga, the show, because this is based off a anime first. Sort of like my Code Geass mangas here, they're based off the anime because the anime was original when it came out. But yeah, I definitely, if you don't want to dabble as hard as I have in the manga and have a bookshelf that looks like this part of it right here that's just full of manga, because I've been obsessed with Fire Force, I have Spy Family right here, you know, and all my other series that I'm reading, and you want something small, you can pick up some good one-shots that exist, and there's plenty of those, or you can go out and pick up a 3-part series like ID Invaded. Hopefully it finishes up. I'm definitely going to read the next volume. There's nothing, it's not a hard commitment to read through this and try to enjoy it. So overall, I definitely recommend that you go out and pick up this manga and give it a try. Give it a read, especially if you haven't read manga, and if you're watching this for some reason, then that's cool. Other than that, y'all, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me babble about some more manga again. And other than that, y'all, have a good one.